fine. Good morning to you all students. Hi students, how are you? I hope you all are fine and you all are doing well. So warm greetings to you all students. Welcome to our today's online class. So now we are studying about chapter 9, isn't it? So what's the title of our chapter? Data types, variables and expressions, isn't it? So before I am going to start about today's portion, so just recall what are the things you have studied at the last class. Okay. So last class you have studied about data types, isn't it? So what do you mean by data type? So data type means representation of variables. So particular variable will belong to which type, isn't it? So now we are studying about a programming language called C++, isn't it? So in a programming language, so if you need to use lot of variables, what do you mean by variables? For example, A, B, C. You are going to add two numbers, A plus B. Okay. So A and B we are calling as a variables. Okay. So this A and B, suppose you are going to add two numbers of data type int. What do you mean by int? Numbers, normal numbers. For example, you are going to add two numbers, 5 and 6. Okay. So 5 and 6, what's the meaning? 5 plus 6. So what's the value of A? Value of A is 5. And what's the value of B? B is 6. Isn't it? So these two values, if you need to use to the program, you should represent particular data type for that. Okay. The value A and B belongs to which type? Numbers means which type? Int. Isn't it? So last class we have studied about lot of data types and also 4 important fundamental data types you have studied. Okay. How many important fundamental data types you have studied? Totally 5 fundamental data types are there. What are they? Int, float, double, void. Isn't it? And also char. What are the 5 fundamental data types? Integer, character, float, then double as well as void. So last class I have taught about int as well as character. So two data types you have studied with one sample program. Isn't it? Yes. So today we are going to study about third data type. Okay. Third fundamental data type. So what's the third fundamental data type? Float. Understand what's the third fundamental data type? Float. Okay. So what's the meaning of float? Float means, already we have studied about int and character. So what do you mean by int? Int means it will represent integer values. What do you mean by integer? 5, 6, numbers. That means number. Natural numbers or whole numbers, a number. So if you need to represent a number means you should represent which data type? Integer. That means int data type. So if you need to represent some characters or some words, computer science or ABC. Like that, characters if you need to represent means you should declare which data type? Character. Okay. Likewise, if you need to represent floating point values. What do you mean by floating point values? Floating point values means nothing but it's a point numbers. Understand? For example, 5.6, 5.7, 30.4. 100.6. Okay. The point numbers if you need to use in the program means you should represent particular type as a which data type? Float. Understand what do you mean by float? Float means if a variable, if you need to declare a variable as a float means what's the meaning? So it will accept only point numbers. And understand decimal values, that is point numbers. So there are mainly two advantages are there if you are using float data type. Okay, important question. So what are the two main advantages mean? So if you, for example, you need to represent a value called, for example, if you need to, you are going to add two numbers, okay, A and B. But 2 point numbers you are going to add. For example, 5.5 and 10.6. Okay, you are going to add two numbers. What are the numbers? A and B. What's the value for A and B? 5.5 and 10.6. Okay, so if you are giving the data type as int means whether it will accept the point numbers? No, int means only it will accept whole numbers, that means 5 or 10. Understand? But if you need to give point numbers, for 5.5 means what's the meaning? The value between 5 and 6. Isn't it? Likewise, if you need to represent accurate value, okay, so two integers are there. Between two integers, if you need to represent accurate value means you can use which data type? Float. So you need to represent the value 5.5. But if you are using the int data type means either you should represent 5 or 6. 5.5 it is not possible. But if you are using float data type means you can represent accurate value. For example, 5.5. That means between two integer values. Understand what I mean by two integer values between? 5.5 means, for example only I am telling, okay. 5.5 means between 5 and 6. Understand? That's the first advantage. Read the first advantage. They can represent values between the integers. Understood? Okay. Second one is, so using this float data type, you can use much greater range of values you can able to represent. Okay. Using this float data type, you can able to represent much greater range of values. So what's the meaning? Much greater range of values means, for example, 5.666677. Likewise, a lot of values will come after the point numbers. Okay, after the point numbers, if you need to represent 6677788, or lot of numbers you need to represent means you can use this float data type. Understand? That's the second advantage. What's the second advantage? Mainly it is used to represent much greater range of values. Understood? So two advantages you have studied in float data type. What are they? First advantage is you can able to represent between two integers. Second one is much greater range of values you can able to represent. Understand? But so at the same time advantages are there, but at the same time disadvantages also there in float data type. Understand? Advantages also there, disadvantage. Okay, now we are going to study about what's the disadvantages of using this float data type. Okay, so if you are compiling what's the meaning of compile? First you will type the program, then you need to compile. Compile means the program will convert it into a bits or bytes, then only you will get output. Okay, so while you are compiling or executing the program, if you are representing this float data type means it will require some more time to execute. Compared to the integer data type, this float data type will require much more time to execute. Okay, and also, so this performance is very slower than integer. Okay, so integer data type means here the performance is very high, but this float data type the performance is very slower compared to integer data type. Okay, this is the main disadvantage. What's the main disadvantage? So it will take lot of time to execute, and also the execution or performance time is slower than the integer. Two advantages you have studied as well as two disadvantages also you have studied. Understand? So here, so this is the example. So here see the example. So here float num equal to 13.4. So what's the meaning? So num, which one is the variable here? So which one is the variable here? Num. Num is a variable. What's the meaning? Means you are declaring a variable num. So the num belongs to data type float. Understood? So here you are giving the value 13.4. Okay. So by saying itself you can identify this is a floating point value. What do you mean by floating point value? Point numbers, that is 13.4. If you are declaring like this means, so entire program you are declared float num equal to 13.4. So in the entire program the value of num will be 13.4 of the data type float. Understood what's the meaning of float data type? Okay. So next data type is double data type. Okay. So when you need to use this double data type means if you need to represent precision floating point numbers. Okay. So what do you mean by precision means? So for example 13.5678 like that. Okay, 13.5678. So after the point you need to represent some significant numbers. Okay, so for example 13.5678. So after the point what are the numbers are there? 5678. Okay, that one we are calling as a precision. Okay, so after the decimal point numbers, if you need to represent some significant numbers, means you should use which data type? Double data type. Okay, so normally, so point numbers means you should use which data type? Float. So this double data type will also come under which data type? Float data type only. But so if you need to represent precisions after the decimal point numbers, means you should use which data type? Double data type. Okay, so what's the disadvantage here means? So this double data type will occupy more space or double space when compared to float. Okay, because after the decimal point you are using more numbers, so it will occupy more space than float data type. Okay, but you can use or you can include more number of fractional numbers. Okay, if you need to represent or if you are representing double data type, means you can able to represent more number of fractions. Okay, this double data type is larger compared to other data type. This data type is larger, but the performance is very slow than other data type. Understand? So compared to other data type, this double data type is very larger, but the performance is very slow than other data type. Okay, so each and every data types are very important. So you should compare and study each data types. Understood? So what are things you have studied in double data type? So double data type means, so if you need to represent precisions, that means after the decimal point numbers, if you need to represent some significant digit, means you should use which data type? Double data type. Okay, so this double data type is also belongs to which one? Come under float data type only, but it will occupy more space or double space than which one? Float data type. Okay, so double data type is very larger, but the performance is very slower than other data type. Understood? Okay. So next one is void data type. So what do you mean by void? In the program you might have seen void main of. But likewise, so what do you next data type is void data type. Okay. So what's the normal meaning of void? Means empty space. Empty. Okay. So what's the normal meaning? This is important one more question. So literal meaning for void is empty space. Underline. Okay. So what's the normal meaning for void data type? Void means empty space. Okay. So if you represent this void data type in the program, means it will that means it means that so you are going to assign some empty set of values. Okay. Only you are assigning the variable, but you are not assigning some values for the variable. Okay. So what's the use of void data type? That means empty space. It will take only empty. That means null values. Okay. Only empty set of values it will take. Okay. But if you are using this void data type, it won't return any values. Okay. So it won't return any values, but simply you can assign this as a void data type. Understand what's the meaning of void? Void means empty data type. That means this if you are giving the void data type, so it will assign some empty set of values. It won't give or it won't return any value as a output. Understand? So 5 data types you have studied fundamental. Very important. What are the 5 data types? Integer, character, float, then double, then void. What do you mean by integer? Normal numbers. Then float means point numbers. Character means characters. A, B, C, D or words. Float means point numbers. Okay. Double means the after the precision. That means after the decimal point some significant number of digits. Void means empty set of values. Understood? This and all very basic things only. I am going very slowly. So you should thorough about this 5 data types. Understood? Okay. So next we are going to study about memory representation of fundamental data types. Okay. So what do you mean by memory representation? Okay. So in the program, so you have studied about data types. So first you will declare some variables. Okay. For example, already you have studied int num. So what's the variable there? Num is a variable. Of which data type? Integer. Okay. So what's the use of declaring a variable? So you are going to use some variable in the program. First you should specify the variable with the data type. Okay. So once you have declared the variable, so immediately the compiler will occupy or provide some space for the variable. For example, I am telling, so you are going to add two numbers A and B. Okay. So you are going to add how many numbers? Two numbers. So how many variables you should name? How many variables? Two variables. What are they? A and B. So in the program you are declaring A and B. Okay. So it will allocate, if you are declaring the variable A and B, immediately the compiler will allocate some space for the variable A and some space for the variable B. Understood? That one we are calling as a memory representation. Okay. So how it will allocate the space means based on the data types. So next topic we are going to study about that space for each data type. Okay. For example, you are assigning the data type as a int means, so integer how many space. So if you are assigning variable as a float data type means float for how many space. Okay. So based on the data types, it will allocate some space for the each variable. Okay. So before you are executing the program, so each data or each variable will accommodate some space in the memory, main memory. Understand? So before we are going to compile the program, so it will allocate some space in the main memory. Okay. So based on the software you are using, now you are studying about which software? C++. So C++ compiler, if you are declaring the variable, immediately the compiler will allocate some space for how many variables you have declared in the program based on the standard. That means this much of space for this variable, then this much of space for this variable. Based on the standards, it will allocate some space. Understood? Okay. So listen carefully. This and all just one time you read it. Okay. No need to mug up it. Just one time read it. You should know. So this is a memory representation for character, integer, like that. Okay. So listen. So next we are going to study about some memory space allocation for each data types. Okay. So each data type, that means 5 fundamental data types you have studied. Among that, 4 is the very important. Void is a empty set of values. So that leave it. Among that, 4 is very important. What are they? Character, int, float and double. Okay. So now we are going to study about how many space allocations or how many memory space required to allocate for each data type. Okay. So each and every data are stored in the form of binary digits. This we are studying from first chapter onwards, isn't it? So what are the things you are giving inside the computer, but all the things will converted into bits and bytes. So all the data are stored in the form of binary digits, isn't it? Listen. So first we are going to study about memory allocation of fundamental data types. Okay. How much space required for storing each fundamental data type. So what are the fundamental data types? Integer, character, float and double. Okay, listen carefully. So character, so it will, they have given 2 in terms of bits as well as byte. 1 byte is a combination of how many bits? This and all very important. Okay, 1 byte means 8 bits. Understood? 1 byte, what's the value of 1 byte? 8 bits. So 2 byte means 16. 4 byte means 32. Understood? Okay, this one you should remember. So character data type will require how many bits? 8 bits. Understood? So 8 bit means in the term of byte how much? 1 byte. Understand? Integer means how many bits? 16 bits. That means 2 byte. So it will take 2 byte in a memory. Float means it will take 4 byte in a memory. Already we have studied. Compared to integer, float will take more memory space. Double means already you have studied. Double will occupy double memory space than float. So how many data byte? 8 byte. That means 64 bits. Understand? This is important one more question. Sometimes they will ask. So character data type, how many memory location, how many bytes. So this one you should remember. Okay. So character means how many byte? 1 byte. Integer means 2 byte. Float means how many byte? 4 byte. Double means 8 byte. Okay. So this is the meaning. What's the meaning means? So character it will take. That means 8 bits means the range between minus 128 to, that means what's the meaning means in the memory. So lot of memory, the addresses are there. In the memory it will take the values between minus 128 to plus 127. This and I'll just one time read it. No need to mug up it. Okay. Then 2 byte, that means 16 bit means minus 32,700. Likewise just you read it. This one. This value and I'll just one time read it. That's all. This one is important. Okay. Character 1 byte, integer 2 byte, float 4 byte, double 8 byte. Understood? So these are the memory allocation for fundamental data types. So next one is data type modifiers. Okay. Name itself having modifiers. What do you mean by modify? Modify means changing or changes. Some changes you need to do or some changes you are going to do. Okay. So here modify mean, what do you mean by modify mean? So mainly modifiers are used to modify the storing capacity of fundamental data type. Okay. So already you have studied the storage capacity of fundamental data type. Isn't it? What are the storage capacity? Int means 2 byte, float means 4 byte, double means 8 byte, character means 1 byte. Isn't it? Now we are going to modify this storage capacity. Okay. So this fundamental data types you are going to modify the storage capacity. Okay. So already each data type has some fixed range of values. So what's the fixed range? Int means 2 byte. That's the fixed. Character means 1 byte. That's the fixed. Likewise, double means 8. Float means 4. This is a fixed range of values. But listen carefully. In a program, you are declaring a variable as an integer data type. Okay. But what's the memory capacity for integer data type? Only 2 bytes. But sometimes you need to store more than 2 byte. Understand? You are using some values. In some cases, if you need to store more than 2 bytes. That means more length of values you are going to store for integer data type. So at that time, this 2 byte is not enough for storing. So like that situation, you need to modify the storage capacity. Understand? So you need to modify the memory space to store the longer values. So we are using modifiers. Understand what's the use of modifiers? What's the use of modifiers? Normally used to modify the storage capacity of the data types. Okay. So each and every data types have some fixed range of values already you have studied. But in some situations, if you need to store values beyond the fixed range, so you need to extend the or modify the memory space. At that time you should use which one? Modifiers. Understood what's the use of modifiers? Yes. So this is the definition of modifiers. Okay. So if your book means please mark it. What's the definition? Modify means modifiers can be used to modify, expand or reduce. You can able to expand. That means expand the space as well as you can able to reduce the space also, memory space. Okay. Expand or reduce memory allocation of any fundamental data type. So how many fundamental data types you have studied? Integer, character, float, double, ball. Among these data types, any one of the data type or any data type, the memory storage allocation you can able to expand or reduce. So that one we are calling as and which one? Modifiers. Understand? So what's the other name of modifiers means qualifiers. Understood what's the other name of modifiers? Qualifiers. Okay. So important one more question, please mark it. Other name of modifier is qualifiers. Okay. So there are totally 4 modifiers are there. Okay. Next we are going to study about this modifiers one by one. So totally how many modifiers are there? 4. What are they? Signed, unsigned, long and short. Understood what are the 4 modifiers? Signed, unsigned, long and short. Okay. These 4 modifiers can be used along with fundamental data types. Okay, already we have studied fundamental data types, int, character, float and double. Okay, so along with these fundamental data types, you are going to use these 4 modifiers. That means signed int or unsigned character, long float, short character. Okay. Likewise, this among the fundamental data types, along with the fundamental data types, you are using these 4 modifiers. Understood? Very, very important question. What do you mean by modifiers and explain the types? Understood? Okay. So next we are going to study about memory allocation for modifiers. Okay. So first, integer data type, what are the modifiers are there? Okay. This also first just you read it. Okay. First data type is a short. What's the first modifier? Short. Short means nothing but normally int. Normally integer data type only we used to call as a short. Okay. So short is a short name for short int. Okay. Normally int we used to call as a short int. So what's the storage capacity for int? 2 bytes. Same. 2 bytes means which one? 16 bits. Okay. Next, unsigned short. Okay. What do you mean by unsigned? Means an integer number without minus, unsigned. Name itself having unsigned. That means there is no sign is there. For example, if you need to represent a number minus 5. Minus 5 means you should call as a signed. But unsigned means 5. That's unsigned. Okay. What do you mean by unsigned? A number without minus sign. Okay. So, unsigned short also will require how many bytes? 2 bytes. 2 byte means 16 bits. So, next one is signed short. Signed means a sign is there. That means positive or negative sign. A number or integer with sign we are calling as a signed short. That means the integer with minus sign we are calling as a short, signed short. Understand what do you mean by signed short? A number with or a number or integer with minus sign. So this signed short also require how many bytes in memory? 2 bytes. That is 32 bits. So here bits will vary. Understand? So here the bits value will vary. This one you should remember. Understand? Here both this short and signed short are similar. Okay. So both the short and signed short are similar. Okay. So normally what's the storage capacity of int? 2 bytes. That is int means integer may or may not be signed. Now we can call minus 5 also integer, plus 5 also integer. A number with sign or without sign we can call as a int. Understand? So under the integer data type, how many modifiers we have studied? 4. What are they? Short, unsigned short, signed short and integer. What do you mean by short? Normally int we are calling as a short int. Unsigned means a number without minus sign. Signed means a number with minus sign. Integer means a number with or without sign. So each and everything have the storage capacity is 2 bytes. But in the terms of bits, signed short will have more storage capacity, that is 32 bits. Understood? This and all come under which data type? Integer type. Understood? Okay. So next one is the same integer only. Unsigned int. Okay. What do you mean by unsigned? Name itself having a integer without any sign. That is without minus symbol. Okay. Without any sign we can call as a which one? Unsigned int. Okay. So this unsigned int also the storage capacity is how many bytes? 2 bytes. Okay, in term of bits, 16 bits. Okay. Signed integer means integer with a sign. With a sign means plus sign or minus sign. Okay, that is with a sign. Unsigned means an integer without sign, without minus sign. Signed means integer with a sign. Here also the storage capacity is how many bytes? 2 bytes. Okay. So both short and int are similar. Comparing other data types, both short and int are similar. This is an important one more question. Okay, both short and int are similar. Next one is long. That is long is a short name for long int. Okay, just to read it. Okay, what do you mean by long? It is a short name for long int. So unsigned long means a double spaced integer without any sign. Okay, that means a lot of integers will be there, but there is a no without any sign. That means either no positive sign or no negative sign or without any sign is there. That is unsigned long. But signed long means a double space integer with a sign. This long, unsigned and signed long all have the memory capacity 4 bytes. Remaining under the integer all will have 2 bytes, but long, unsigned long and signed long. This long, all the long data types will have how many bytes? 4 bytes. In terms of bits, 32 bits. Understood? So this and all come under integer data type. Understood? Okay. Next one is character data type. Okay. So under the character data type, what are the modifiers are used under the character data type? Okay. So first one is char. Normally your side. That is signed ASCII character. What do you mean with signed ASCII character? ASCII values. For example, the ASCII value of A is 64. ASCII value of B is 65. There is a signed ASCII character, that is minus 64 or plus 64. Okay, that's the representation, signed ASCII character. So here, character already we have studied. What's the memory capacity? 1 byte, isn't it? In terms of bits, 8 bits. Next one is unsigned character. Unsigned means name itself having a character without sign. So that unsigned also storage capacity is 1 byte. Next, signed character. A signed character means a character with the signed. For example, minus 64 or minus 65 or plus 64. A character should have sign. That is a signed character. But each modifiers will have the storage capacity how much? 1 byte. Understood? 1 byte means how many bits? 8 bits. But the storage, the range of values will change. That one you should remember. Understood? Okay. Next one is floating point type. Okay. So, what do you mean by floating point? Decimal, that is the fractional numbers, isn't it? So, normally float. Float means signed fractional value. Signed means either positive plus 5.6 or minus 5.7. That is the sign. Okay, what's the normal memory capacity of float? 4 bytes. So, in term of bits is 32 bits. Okay, next one is double. Okay, double means signed more precisional fraction value. That means after the point numbers, that is a double, isn't it? After the point numbers, more precisional fraction values will have. That is a signed. For example, listen here see 1.7 10 to the power minus 308. That's a after the point numbers, this much of values will have. That is the signed numbers you should give. Okay. Next, long double means signed more precisional fractional values. Here see, before double means 1.7 into 10 to the power minus 308. See, long double means 3.4 into 10 to the power minus 4900. That is the highest value. That is a more precisional fractional value. Double also sign. Here floating data types, all the things we need to a signed value. Then only it will accept. Understand? So what are the modifiers you have studied in the float? Float, double and long double. What do you mean by float? It is a signed fractional value. Double means the most precisional after the decimal point precisional fractional value. Long double means after the point more highest precisional values. Okay. So you have studied about memory location of 4 fundamental data types. Then each data type modifiers also you have studied. Okay. So this memory allocation will vary from each software. Each compiler will have separate memory allocations. Okay. For example, you are studying about C++ program. So C++ also lot of compilers are there. Turbo C++ is there. Dev C++ is there. Like it's lot of compilers will be there. Okay. So some differentiation will be there between two compilers. Okay. What are the allocations or the memory space allocations are differ from Turbo C++ and Dev C++. Next we are going to study. Okay. But our lab we are using which compiler means Dev C++. Because we are studying about which software? Dev C++. Okay. See. So this is the memory space allocation between Turbo C++ and Dev C++. Okay, this is very, very important. So one more question, so sometimes two more questions also they will ask. So what's the difference between memory space between Dev C++ and Turbo C++? Okay. So which one is differ mean? See, integer, unsigned int and signed int. So that one they are giving in bold letters. Okay. But in the Turbo C++ 2 bytes. Normally we have studied 2 bytes, isn't it? So integer data type means how many memory allocation? 2. Unsigned 2. Signed in integer means also 2. But in Dev C++, the memory space allocation is how many bytes? 4. Remaining everything same only, or some differentiation is there. And next, long double. Long double, Turbo C++ 10, but Dev C++ 12. Okay, 4 differentiation is there in memory space. What are they? Integer in Turbo C++ 2, but Dev C++ 4. 3 integers. What are they? Int, unsigned int, and signed int. That 3 integers in Turbo C++ 2 bytes, but in Dev C++ 4 bytes. As well as in long double Turbo C++ 10 byte and Dev C++ 12 byte. Understood? This one is very, very important. So same only that explanation they are giving. So in integer, there's Turbo C++ 2 byte, here 4 byte. Okay. So this is important. One more question. Size of. Okay. This size of operator gives size of data type. That means integer data type is of how much size. Character data type is the memory size is this much. Okay. For that one function is there. What's the function? Size of. Important one more question. So size of is operator is used to find the size of the data type. Understand? Okay. Next one is number suffixes. Okay, what's the next thing? Number suffixes. What do you mean by suffix? So in English you have studied, isn't it? You might have studied prefix and suffix. So what do you mean by prefix? So one word they have given means before the word you are adding some letters. That one we are calling as which one? Prefix. Some word they have given. So after the word you are adding some letters. That we are calling as an suffix. So prefix if you are adding means also it will give some meaning. And suffix if you are adding some letters also it will give some meaning. But the original word won't get changed. Isn't it? Original word will change? No. For example, they are giving able. A word they have giving able. So in the prefix you are adding unable. Whether the word able can be changed? No. The word able remain the same, but you are adding only the prefix letter un, unable. Same thing only. So here also you are going to add some suffixes. Suffixes in some data types. Understand? So what are the suffixes? What are the data types we are going to add? Suffixes mean integer and floating point data types. Okay, so you are going to add suffixes in which data type? Integer and floating data type. Okay, so what's the use of suffix means? By seeing the suffix itself, you can able to identify this belong to which data type. So normally you know integer float character in, but lot of modifiers you have studied, isn't it? By using suffixes, you can by seeing the suffix itself, you can able to identify this one belong to which data type. Okay, so these suffixes can be used along with which fundamental data type? Integer and floating point numbers. Understood? One example they have given. For example, if you need to store a value 45. Okay, in a memory, if you are going to store a value 45, in what are the data types if you need to store? 45 is an integer. 45 is an integer or not? Normally integer. So this integer value you are going to store in a long unsigned int and unsigned long int. Okay. So you are going to store in a signed, that is long int, and unsigned long int. This one is wrong. Okay. The long int. Okay. Okay. So you are going to, normally 45 is a integer value. You are going to store a value 45 as a long int and unsigned long int. Okay, for that you are going to use the suffix letter. Okay, so long unsigned int means the letter you are giving as a L. Long int, that is long int is you are giving with the letter L. And unsigned long is you are defining with the letter U. Understand? For example, you are giving 45L. For example, you are giving 45L. What's the meaning? 45L means by seeing itself you can identify this is an integer value, that is a long integer value. Understand? For 45U. What's the meaning of 45U? That is an unsigned integer value. Understand? That's the differentiation between that normal integer and suffix integer. Okay, so by if you are in the program itself you are giving 45L or 45U or 55L or AL and U, this suffixes you are giving means the compiler, while you are declaring the variable itself, the compiler can identify this is belongs to longed integer value and unsigned integer value. So based on that it will allocate some memory spaces. Already you have studied, no, longed 4 byte, unsigned this much of byte, isn't it? Based on that it will allocate memory space. This is a use of suffix. Okay, next the letter F. This is important. Okay, L and U. The letter F is used to denote floating point values. Okay, so the letter capital F is used to denote which one? Important 1 mark question. Which values? Floating point values. For example, they are giving 3.14 F. So by seeing itself you can identify this is belongs to which one? Floating point values. Understood? So what do you mean by suffix? Suffix means some letters you are adding next to the values, but these suffixes are used along with some fundamental data types. What are the fundamental data types? Integer and floating point. So for example, if you need to represent the long int means you should use the letter L as the suffix with the value, and unsigned means the letter U you can use, and floating point value means you can use the letter F. Okay. Okay. Today time over. So up to this enough. What are the things you have studied today? Fundamental data types. What are they? Fundamental data types: float data type, then double and void, and also memory allocation of fundamental data types. Next, modifiers. Very important question. Types of modifiers, then suffixes. So what are the portions I have taught? Modifiers, very important question. Then data types, fundamental data types, very important. The tabular column, just go through it. And suffixes also very important. So after the completion of this portion, please study thorough all these portions. This is a homework for you. Okay, understand? Thank you, students. Remain, you can continue in the next class. Thank you.